this feels like to me a slap on the wrist for a huge brand, and the NBA is getting ready for LeBron potentially and Paul George to move to L.A. and all the media markets to go nuts. How does it land for you?
Well, a slap on the wrist is exactly what I feel like this is. Look, there were teams around the league that wanted to see more of a punishment. Nobody thought they were going to come down hard on the Lakers. I do know that there were, at least there was one executive from another team that told the league, as the league was doing its investigation, that if I did something like that, this is a guy that was not a former player, certainly not a Hall of Famer, a legend like Magic, that if I did something like that, it would have been a lot more of a punishment than you're going to give the Lakers. So some people around the league wanted to see, you know, the league come down strong on this in some way, shape, or form. Again, most people thought it would end up being a fine, which it was. I heard numbers that were higher than 500 as far as people thought it might be $1 million or something like that. But this really doesn't affect the Lakers. But I do think you need tampering rules. So
yeah,
if
or
they,
it'd be a free-for-all.
broke them, then it's fine.
Yeah,
and that's some people think it's getting out of hand. So I think it's good that they came down. It's not too heavy. Any thought of, they're going to keep Paul George from going to the Lakers? No, that wasn't happening unless there was real evidence that they did already have a deal in place.
By the way, Sam Amick USA Today is reporting the infamous Magic interview with Jimmy Kimmel. The league's view on that was, quote, in essence, joking manner, not out of bounds. So there you go. Okay.
If you know Magic, that's how he is, and everybody loves Magic, and it was fine.
You don't get a nickname Magic unless on TV you got a little magic. Okay?
That's right.
Okay, so Boston says we're going to give even more stuff, and it's a second-round pick for Kyrie Irving. This is a funny dynamic here. Is this because Cleveland makes a deal and LeBron hears about the hip and not in love with it, and so the young Kobe Altman, the young rookie GM for Cleveland's like, I got to get something else out of this, so the optics are we didn't get abused on this. What is your takeaway on Danny giving away even more? Although I still think Boston got the star and they won the deal, but what's your make on it?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't give away much, obviously. A 2020 pick, they've got a ton of picks. They weren't going to give a first-rounder. I think that would have really been bad for the Celtics. But, they needed to get this done. Both teams needed to get it done. Cleveland wasn't in a position to demand much more. And Boston, obviously, needed to get Kyrie and get Isaiah out of there. So, this was fine. This is what most people expected, that they get a late first or a second-round pick. And obviously that's what's happened.
Listen, you get a superstar. There's only about 6 in the league. If you get one, you win the deal. I love what Boston got. And by the way, I don't think Isaiah Thomas, I got nothing against Tyronn Lue, but I think Isaiah Thomas with Brad Stevens is a better player than Isaiah Thomas potentially with Tyronn Lue. And I think Kyrie Irving is going to go to Brad Stevens and have an MVP level year. Now, I want to play a tape. This is you on a podcast that said something that I am not quite sure I understand. Let's play the tape of Chris Broussard on a podcast. Go ahead.
The one thing about LeBron, and I actually do think that this is unfortunate, and I think it hurts him when you talk about the GOAT conversation. Michael Jordan played for Phil Jackson. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had Pat Riley. Magic Johnson had Pat Riley. Tim Duncan had Greg Popovich. LeBron, with all due respect to Eric Spoelstra, Ty Lue, Mike Brown, who are good coaches, he has never had that iconic coach.
Wait, time out. So what you're telling me is LeBron, who is so great he's going to smash all of MJ's records except finals, he literally changed the scheduling. Basically, he changed player mobility in the NBA. You think he's underachieved? Is that what I hear there?
No. Two of those things you said, first of all, are off the court. So we're talking about basketball. I'm not talking about societal impact on, the scheduling and things like that. What I'm saying is this. No, LeBron is not underachieved. But what I'm saying is if he had one of those legendary, iconic coaches, Phil Jackson, Pat Riley, Greg Popovich, I believe he would have won more titles because those coaches had the credibility to make LeBron play in a system a system that whatever system they felt was perfect for him. Michael Jordan never won it without Phil Jackson. Kobe Bryant, same thing. Shaq never won it without either Phil Jackson or Pat Riley coaching him. Look at what Greg Popovich did with an old Tim Duncan. An old Tim Duncan was still winning championships. If LeBron had one of those coaches, I do think he'd have more than 3 rings. And that's why I say that hurts him in the GOAT conversation, because if he had 5 rings right now, there would be a lot of people saying he was the GOAT ahead of Michael Jordan. So that's what I mean. And he's had good coaches, but nobody on the level of the 3 guys I mentioned.
All right, and finally, I got a minute left here. I think LeBronzo is going to happen. You have been pessimistic on LeBron and the Lakers. If, dare I say, pessimistic, you don't think it's going to happen.
No, I'm not saying it can't. I'm just saying it's certainly not the done deal that a lot of people think it is. And look, if Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram have a great year and show tremendous promise, then those two with Paul George and LeBron James, that's a very good team. But I'm saying, as it stands right now, as the landscape is and what we can tell at this point, if LeBron leaves Cleveland and if it is all about winning, which it should be, it shouldn't be about Hollywood, being a movie star, building your brand and your business and all. He's got all that already and can have it when he retires. If it's about winning, go to San Antonio. There's only one place to go if you leave Cleveland and you want to win championships, San Antonio. With Kawhi, LeBron, and Popovich, I would put them, if LeBron went there, I would put them right even with the Golden State Warriors.
Oh,
I think it'd be a pick 'em.
Well, I'll pick them. I'll pick them the Warriors.
Really? Look,
yeah.
First of all, San Antonio was close already this year with just 1 star in Kawhi. Give them LeBron, and they can compete with the Warriors, maybe even beat them.